Hello, everyone. Welcome to the last lecture slides for Chapter 9. And we are going to conclude with talking about bilingualism. And a major question when talking about bilingualism, something that people often ask is, are there sensitive periods for bilingualism, learning another language? Can children only be taught a language while they are young, or are adults able to learn a language while they are older? That's the question. Are there sensitive periods to learning a language? And the answer is complex. For a few examples, few reasons, adults usually learn a second language faster than children actually do, but when you ask an adult about their final level of attainment for the second language, usually adults' final level of second language attainment is not as high as children. So while children usually take a while to learn a second language, they usually learn a second language slower than adults. Their level of attainment is higher compared to adults. So it really just depends on if you would like to have a higher level of attainment, or are you focused on understanding the language faster. So it really just depends. People that are bilingual, they are, to me, magical, because if you are bilingual, you're able to have usually better control of attention compared to people that are just monolingual. You have better analytical reasoning, and you have better cognitive monitoring. However, a downfall being bilingual compared to someone that is monolingual is that if you're bilingual, usually, again, not always, but usually, people that are bilingual, they have smaller vocabularies in both languages compared to a child that is monolingual. They may have a higher vocabulary because obviously they only know one language. And I thought this was so funny. It says when you're bilingual and you keep forgetting words in both languages, cries in Spanish. It's so funny to me. But people that are bilingual, trilingual, really are magical, and I applaud you for having the ability to know and understand in two languages. It can be difficult for sure. And when we think about bilingualism, we have to talk about bilingualism in the United States. Usually, countries outside of the United States, they really make sure that children learn a second language. But in the United States, children compared to children in other countries are really behind in learning a second language. And even people that are in the United States that are trying to learn two languages currently, children, a lot of times they endure something called subtractive bilingualism. And so originally they're able to speak the language that is most often spoken at home. And just in the United States, we're going to say that, for example, for Spanish, children and families may understand and speak a lot of Spanish at home. So they may be monolingual at home. But then as they go to school, children are able to are becoming bilingual in their home language, which in this example is Spanish, and they become fluent in English as well. But additionally, further down the line, then children are just now monolingual in English, because at school, obviously they're just taught in English. And so that is subtractive bilingualism, how originally they were able to speak the home language, and then eventually they learned how to speak the home language in English, but because they were taught they're just speaking only in English and writing in English at school, they begin to forget the monolingual, the Spanish that they originally were learned at home. So they just become monolingual in English now. So it's not a good thing. It's important for parents to speak in Spanish at home or the other languages at home, so that both of the Spanish or the other language and English are both being reinforced to make sure that that bilingualism is kept in children. And so, of course, the question is now, what is the best way to teach English language learners? That's a hot topic, a hot debate right now in the current education system in the United States. The first way that you can teach English language learners is instruction in English only. But as I alluded to in the last slide, that can lead to subtractive bilingualism. And so, what I mostly am a fan of is the dual language, the bilingual approach, where you instruct in English and in Spanish, or English and German, whatever language that the child has at home. You're able to have this dual language. And it really, the dual language approach just is given in both the child's home language and in English, and it varies based on a certain grade level. But drawing conclusions about the English language learners program can be difficult because the programs are all different. They vary in the times of that the children have access to them, the type of instructions, the teachers, the quality of the schooling outside of the English language learners instruction. So it really just depends. There is no right answer, but I will say that I personally lean more towards the dual language, the bilingual approach. Okay, that is all that I have for you all for Chapter 9, Language. Keep up the good work. You are about halfway done with the semester. I'll see you all next week. Bye bye.